Welcome to the Fear and Greed Afternoon Report for Tuesday, the 15th of February 2022. I'm Sean Aylmer. Every afternoon, we bring you the 5 news items that happened today that you need to know about. Let's jump into it. Story number 1 is the local share market. With the Ukraine-Russia flare-up continuing, the local bourse fell 0.5%, and the S&P/ASX 200 closed at 7,207 points. Energy stocks led the falls as oil prices came off their 7-year highs. Beach Energy, which hit an 8-month high yesterday, tumbled 10%. Market leader Woodside fell 2.5%, while Santos was off more than 4%. Some of the gold stocks continued to outperform along with the price of the precious metal, while others pulled back as investors took profits. The major banks were lower, led down by Westpac, which had a good run yesterday, while the big miners were also down following a drop in the price of iron ore futures. Fortescue ended the day down more than 5%, while Rio was off nearly 3%. The retailers all did well today. Wesfarmers, Woolworths and Coles, they were all up between 1.3% and 1.7%. But Sims Metal was the best performer, up more than 13% after announcing a booming profit result. Story number 2, BHP announced a whopping $14 billion profit for just 6 months to the end of December, and a much bigger than forecast share dividend, fully franked. Iron ore drove the business, but coking coal and strong copper prices contributed as well. BHP is on track to merge its oil and gas business with Woodside Petroleum by June 30. CEO Mike Henry was upbeat about the future, saying the outlook for demand from China was expected to improve later this year. One of the biggest uncertainties remains the border closure in Western Australia. BHP's share price ended flat, which was a pretty good performance given what its competitors did. Story number 3 comes from Canberra. The Prime Minister Scott Morrison has admitted that he and the coalition need to be more focused in the run-up to the federal election, most likely in May. He's called for more discipline following a week where he was criticised by Australian of the Year Grace Tame and former Liberal staffer Brittany Higgins, where he failed to push through critical pieces of legislation around religious freedoms and proxy voting, where he faced criticism about text messages previously sent by his deputy Barnaby Joyce, and plenty more. In question time today, the likely key issues started to emerge from both sides. The coalition will campaign on the economy, and they'll call Labor high taxing. Labor will look towards issues such as aged care and the pandemic to win over voters. Story number 4 comes from landlord Dexus. It's a property giant that today announced a near doubling of profit for the 6 months to the end of December. Much of that was due to revaluations of property holdings upwards. What was particularly interesting, though, was what Chief Executive Darren Steinberg said about people returning to the office. In short, it's happening, and it's staff, not management, pushing to get back to the office. Office buildings are here to stay, and most companies aren't reducing space, Mr. Steinberg said. Occupancy in the group's office tower portfolio is above 95% and growing. He thinks March 1 is a date where most companies will reopen office space en masse. And story number 5, well, I always like to throw in an international yarn. Today's about Donald Trump. Bloomberg is reporting that Donald Trump's longtime accountant has told the Trump Organization that a decade of financial statements it helped prepare can't be relied upon. Yep, can't be relied upon. It comes as part of a court filing by New York State. Mr. Trump's finances have been questioned ever since he hit the public eye, particularly around whether he paid the right amount of tax. Normally, an accountant dropping a client is a very, very big red flag for authorities and investors. Of course, the smart money remains on Mr. Trump running for president again, and his tax filings will be part of that. That's it for the afternoon report for Tuesday, the 15th of February, 2022. Don't forget to hit follow on the podcast and find Fear and Greed on LinkedIn, Twitter and Facebook. Join Michael Thompson and I tomorrow morning for the Wednesday Fast 5 by Fear and Greed. I'm Sean Aylmer. Enjoy your evening.